Hardcore Boxing News, and that's what's up, man.
Hey, Dad. It's a dollar bill.
And that's what's up, man. Okay, you gonna come on here and just break news just like that, huh?
This is dollar bill.
Hey, it's your boy Jay Hardcore Boxing News. What you got going on, bro? We out of here. Hey, it's your boy Jay Hardcore Boxing News. And I'm here with a legend from Philly today, Danny Davis. How you doing today, bro?
I'm cool, man. You see where I'm at? I'm in the gym, man, doing what I do.
Yes, indeed. Everybody in Philly, when they always talking about you, they said this brother is just like one of the best Cutmans in the world, and also a top trainer as well.
Appreciate you, man. I come from a lot of legends, man, here in Philly and outside of Philly, man. You know,
That's what I've heard. Yeah, I heard.
Yeah.
I tell you what, let's go from the beginning. What got you into boxing, bro?
Well, just slap boxing, man, in the neighborhood, man.
I remember them days.
And this old guy named Mr. Hayes, you know, asked us to ask our parents, man, could we come to the gym? And he gathered about maybe 4 or 5 of us in the station wagon. And because, you know, my uncles and I ain't really had nobody in my family that boxed like that. They was good street, but, you know, nobody never went to the gym. So my mom allowed me to go to the gym, man, and it's been history ever since. Started out at Piles and then went up to this gym up in Germantown called the Happy Hollow, where I made my home. And from there, I went to Champ's Gym. I was just bouncing around here and there. But yeah, that's how I started.
Right. And I remember them slap boxing. I'm from Washington, D.C. So, you know, that's all we was into was boxing down here in D.C., man, you know.
And I stayed in D.C. for a while, man. I was with Daru and I mean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man. I was training out of Kenilworth.
Yeah. I went to high school around that way. I went to H.D. Woodson. Yeah.
So I was down there, man. Daru had me, man. So yeah, I was with them for a little bit. Sparring Mark and Heidi, them guys, man. So I go back a little bit. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. It seems like we're probably around the same age.
Yeah, I'm 55, man.
Yeah, and I'll be 55 in August.
Yeah.
Okay.
James Harris used to always go at it, man.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we used to always have to fight each other, man. And Ham, that's my man, man.
I remember Ham. You taking it back now. You say Ham.
So you know, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you know what you're talking about. You remember Funderburg?
Who?
Mr. Funderburg.
I remember him. Yeah. Happy Gulp, man. I remember all them guys, man.
Nice. Okay. So tell me about the amateur career.
So I was number 3 in the country, man, at 106 pounds. I used to stay up Colorado Springs, man. I was like one of the top 106 pounders. I lost to Eric Griffin. You remember him?
I don't remember Eric Griffin.
Went to the Olympics in '92. So
okay.
I lost to him in the box off. But I won the Golden Gloves, national champ twice. So yeah, man.
You won the Golden Gloves, huh?
Oh yeah,
twice.
Yeah. Back in '92. Yeah.
Oh, you was definitely sharp then.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't easy to win the Golden Gloves, bro.
Not at all, man. Not at all, because you had to go through your city, the regionals, the states, then the regionals, and then the nationals, man.
That's right.
And you know, back then, man, you know, we could rumble back then, man. These guys.
Oh yeah. It was some gunslingers back then.
It was some slingers.
Yeah.
Arthur Johnson, Bernard Price, man. Them guys was something. Yeah.
That is so true, man.
I had a pretty good amateur career, man. Real good amateur career. I turned pro like in 95. I only had 6 pro fights, man. I didn't have a long pro career due to I was still in the streets, man, just
Tell me
hustle.
about it. Tell me
Uh,
about it.
so
Hmm.
just had a short pro career, man. I was like Emmanuel. I used to always talk to Emmanuel Stewart because he only had 7 pro fights, and he became a legend.
Man,
World.
Manny was something else, man. He is definitely missed, bro.
Yes, he was, man. And I would call him, and he would pick up, man. And
Mm.
that's how cool he was. I call him up, and he picked the phone up, man. He was one of my other mentors, man, that gave me a lot of advice, man. But I met him, through working with Bernard. And
Mm.
he's, of course, he used to do a lot of interviews with Bernard. So, I got connected, you know what I mean, and got his number, and I would call him or ask him for advice. So, yeah, he is very missed, man.
He was good for advice. I'm gonna tell you, one of the best advice that he gave to Lennox Lewis. He told Lennox Lewis, you need to use your jab more. You're trying to be an inside fighter, and it's not good for you. You need to get behind that jab. You get behind that jab, and ain't nobody who's going to be able to mess with you. And when Lennox took that advice, he became lethal, man, with that jab.
Yes, he did. Like a Larry Holmes jab.
Eastern assassin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
Larry was a bad boy. All right, so you went from that and you got into training, correct?
I got into training. Actually, I took a little break from boxing. And
Mm-hmm.
actually my mom, man, she was like, I was just sitting around, man. I wasn't really doing nothing. And she was like, once you get back into the gym. So I started just hanging around, sniffing. I went back down champs, just sniffing around. And I
Mm-hmm.
pads and I would just do pad work with different people. And Jackie Frazier was the first one that hired me. I was her pad man. And I
Mm.
called the pad man, because there's levels in this game, man.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
I was called the pad man. I would do all the pads for everybody. Ivan Robinson, Mike Stewart. I would do all the pad work for everybody in the gym. And that's how I knew Bernard from
Mm-hmm.
fighting. I fought on a couple of his cars. But Brother Nazim had, at that time, he had his son going to the Olympics. And he couldn't be at 2 places at one time. So someone gave Bernard my name.
Mm.
Like, he was getting ready for Oscar. And he needed somebody fast. So Leon Tabs, I don't know if you remember him. He's a legend. He's a Cutman who
Mm-hmm.
I came under. He too was.
Mm-hmm.
So he gave him my he said, look, try Danny out. And I remember going up there that next day, man, and I was nervous, but I did my thing, man, and that's been history. He was like, yo, you want to go to camp with me? And we was together for decades, bro. I was with him until he retired in 2016. Yeah.
Wow, wow. Yeah, but Bernard's a bad boy, man. And one thing I like about Bernard is what you consider a what word am I looking for? A Spartan of the game. He was truly about it. No smoking, no drinking, eating clean, training all the time, keeping his weight down. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Bernard kept like a 28, 29-inch waist for a long
Yeah,
time, man.
for a long time. I mean, he was working with him, man, and living with him for so many years. At first, I really couldn't understand him because, I used to dislike him, and I knew him, but I really didn't know him. And it's like, how could you dislike a person you don't even know him because you hear other things about him and how he was? And I got caught up into the hype because I was listening to, oh man, he's cheap, he's mean, he this and that. Until I started working with him. And then I understand now the reason why, the way he was, man. I mean, he lived a very disciplined life. And that's why he lasted so long in this game and was beating up these young guys because of his lifestyle. So it made me better. But it was like, I was like, if I would have been around you when I was fighting, I know I would have been a champ. And
Mm-hmm.
I was so undisciplined when I was fighting, You know what I mean? With the women, with this and that, man. And I was good. I was very good, but I wasn't disciplined. But when I got around him and started working for him, and I saw how he moved, I
Mm-hmm.
was like, this would have made me a better fighter if I was around him when I was fighting. So I wanted to still have my marbles, still wanted to speak
Mm-hmm.
uh, properly. That's why I retired. I got out the game in 2002. My last fight was in Atlantic City. I fought on the Ivan Robinson and Barry Harrison card.
Mm-hmm.
Beat up. Mr. Bowie stopped the fight, and he said, "Son, it will be another day." It ain't been another day. So I retired, man, and just I learned how to do different stuff in this game to be irrelevant in this game. I learned how to wrap hands. I learned how to do cuts. I did a lot, man. I washed clothes, went to camp, and I'm not, not proud to say it, but I got paid good money, man. So when people say Bernard was cheap, he wasn't cheap because I made some good money with him, you know. And I learned and I was around because Bernard wasn't cheap when it came to him. He
Mm-hmm.
paid for the best people to be around him. At one
Mm-hmm.
time, he had like 3 trainers, bro, in his corner, Freddie
Mm-hmm.
and Nazim, and he paid all of them separately. So that shows,
Wow.
but you're not. It's very rare when you're going to get that type of caliber of person and a fighter today. These guys today is prima donnas. They soft. They don't know if they want to do it because they get beat up. Then it was like they don't know if they, you know what I mean? Like they soft because things was given to them. You know what I mean? With the fights, that's why you can't make good fights now. You know what I mean? And it's sad now because now the YouTube guys is taking over. You know what I mean? Because they making the fights where the real fighters should be making the fights. You know what I mean? Fight the boxing world, it's never going to go nowhere. But as consumers, they upset because certain fights should have been made and been made. You know what I mean?
You speaking gospel there, man. People are getting fed up. And I always got my ears to the consumers, man. And you mentioned Spence Crawford, and it's to the point now people are saying, you know what? I don't even care if it happened or not now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how people are really saying that. They was like, I know me personally, I'm like, if it doesn't happen this year, I don't want to see it. Because I'm tired of seeing fighters when they're past their prime and then they finally give us this and repackage it and shoot it down to us. And it's not what it's supposed to have been. We want to catch these cats in their prime, you know what I mean? Going at it. Because we both know if those two guys get in the ring right now, we're probably going to get one of the best fights that we've seen in 10 years.
Absolutely. That's why you got to take your hat off to the fight that happened over the weekend with Plant and Benavidez. They stepped up to the plate, man.
That's right.
Ryan and Tank stepping
That's
up
right.
to the plate, man.
That's right.
Boxing needs, man. I'm tired of all these, these different sanctions and this and that, the different promoters. Everybody should come together because we all one community. Everybody should be coming together.
And it's a small community.
And it's a small community. Make the best fights where people are that want to see. Because you're paying good money for seats, you're paying for the zone, you're paying for this app, you're paying for that app. Make these fights happen.
And the money will come.
And the money's going to come, man. It's going to come. You know what I mean? We shouldn't be disrespected from YouTube guys coming in here, man, making millions of dollars. Come on, it's disrespectful.
With 4 and 5 fights.
Yeah, maybe 1 or 2,
Yeah.
And making
millions.
7 mil. Like, come on. Like, it's disrespectful to the game. You understand? I can't knock a hustle.
Nah, I respect it 100%. You can get that. But what I'm saying is the money's out there. All they got to do is fight, man.
All they got to do is come together. I don't care what promotional company you with. Come together and give the fans, give the people what they want, like Hagler and Hearns and Benitez and like Durant and Tommy. Some guys gave the people what they want, and we could take it back further than that. They gave you what you want, and that was
multiple times. Sometimes look at Sugar Ray Leonard and Hearns, man. They just kept giving it to us, man, because it was such a great fight, and we had no problem paying for it.
And they ain't had no problem splitting. They ain't had no problem splitting the proceeds. Man, this guy wants 70-30 now. This I want to give you 30. We the best.
You know what's crazy about that 70-30? They agreed to it, and the fight still didn't happen. And that tells me that Fury didn't want that fight. Because if a man agreed to 70-30.
Hello, that's why I mentioned the 70-30, because you know where I was going at.
Yeah. No doubt. No doubt.
Come on now.
After that, anything else that man asked for, you should just say yes. And he done gave you 70% of the purse.
Yeah.
There's no other excuses. That fight should have happened. We should have had a heavyweight fight for undisputed of the world. But no. You can't tell me. And then they're going to try to say that it was Uskar's fault. You know what I mean? If a man accepts 30%,
it's definitely not his fault.
You can't sell that to me.
Nah, you ain't selling to me as well. Not selling to me either, man. You know what I mean? When a man takes 30%, like you said, in the fight, and it don't happen.
And he got three, and he had 3 belts. He got 3 belts, and he's willing to take 30%. You got 1 belt.
Yeah.
That's a man that wants to fight.
He want to fight. But this is why I go back to about a minute or two what I just said, as far as this is why these guys, YouTube guys, and these TikTok guys, they get together and they brainstorm and say, you know what, we can make this. We can fight. And they make it.
Making it good too.
And they throw it on the zone or they throw it on the network.
That's right. Making it happen.
But the true fighters can't even make it happen. Man.
Yeah,
something got to give, man.
Yeah, it's a dirty game, man. It's truly a dirty game, man. And boxing is the only sport that doesn't have a sanctioning committee that's overall. You know how football has.
Boxing is the only sport where a barber can get his license and work a corner. You understand? And this is the problem that I have, man. I work the corners, and I work many of corners. I see guys in the corner, man. They lost, bro. They don't know what to do. So how would you have your friend in the corner if he can't do anything but carry your bag and hold your belt or hold the bucket? You know, and this was the problem. Friends in the corner. Stop having your friends in the corner and get legitimate guys in your corner. You know what I mean? And this is the problem, man. And just like I was talking to Jamaican, man, I was telling him about, a lot of these kids, because a lot of people want to do pad work, and now a kid see you on YouTube or see you on Instagram doing pads real good, right? They thinking that you are a trainer, right? That illusion, like you, and then they call you, and then you're not even being truthful to this kid and say, no, I'm not no trainer. I just do this for fun. Then you go into the ring with this kid, you getting your license, and you go into the ring with this kid having no knowledge and can't even navigate him to a fight. You understand? Like, this is the part that I dislike about boxing. Like you just said, we're the only entity that anybody can walk into the sport and anybody can be at that ringside.
That's right. Anybody, and anybody has been on side. They take us all the way back to remember when Mike Tyson, who was he fighting? And he had one of his friends in the corner. They didn't have no inswell.
Had a glove. had a plastic glove.
A balloon or something.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, man.
Mm-hmm.
I done seen guys in the corner, man, like really fold. I had to hold their wrist because they were shaking. They didn't know what I'm like, yo, calm down, man. Because when the fighters see you fumbling, then how do you think they're going to react when they sitting down? Because you know what I mean? You have to know how to navigate someone when it's going good or bad. You understand? You have to. Long as
Right.
that going, you gotta still navigate this fighter.
That's
You
right.
know, a lot of guys are getting exposed in that corner because they have friends in that corner, man. You have friends. When you got friends in your corner and they don't know anything really about boxing and know anything, nah, because it's a different level, man. When you in that corner, man, and them lights, you know,
Mm-hmm.
on the corner because I'm gonna be on TV. I don't even pay that stuff no mind. A lot of people like, yo, dang, like man, you be so focused. Yeah, my focus
Because you
is
got somebody's life in your hands.
that's right. And I also, if you need me, if you need to ask me anything, I can give you advice.
That's right.
You know, even though I'm a cut man, I don't say nothing. I play my role. But if you need to ask Danny, man, what you think, man? He ain't listening to me. What you think? I can give you input.
Mm-hmm.
And because guess what? I have the knowledge and I have the wisdom to do that.
That's right. And you're also a certified referee and a certified judge, correct?
Yes, amateur. Yep.
Mm-hmm. You did that with the USA. You did that with the USA boxing team, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with the USA Boxing. Yeah, regional too. I'm with USA Boxing. I'm also a referee, you know, judge.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't been doing it as much because I be having a lot of pro stuff going on. I'll be going away. And I'm training Hank right now. He's
That's my guy.
fight a young hungry, another young hungry guy. I tell people between him and Gabe, man, I just got off the phone with Rosado. Between them two, man, them guys, man, them guys do not turn nothing down, man. They
That's
are
true.
they are truly throwback fighters, man.
Yes, indeed. And one thing about Hank, man, Hank can sell a fight, boy.
You know it.
He could sell a fight, man. Soon as those cameras come on,
Yeah.
a switch goes off with Hank, man, and he
That-
does this thing. I really like Hank, man.
he backs it up, man. You know,
He does. He does.
He got-
I was so sad that he didn't get that Adrian Broner fight, man. You know, but
oh, it is what it is. We had
it is what it is. Yeah, because I was up there. Matter of fact, soon as I heard that he was fighting Adrian, I came up there and I interviewed him and everything, and you know, watched him train. You know, because Greg Hackett was training him at the time.
yeah.
You know, so yeah. Huh?
I said we was working together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Yeah, Greg's another good guy, man.
Man. Funny.
Yeah.
That's my man, Greg Hackett, man.
Yes, indeed.
We did plenty of camps together, man. We worked with plenty of fighters.
Mm-hmm.
Greg, he's young, but he's very knowledgeable.
Yes, he is. He is. Yeah,
Very,
and people listen to Greg, man.
yeah, they do.
Yeah, matter of fact, he was just over in Vegas at Tank's camp. He had took Jabril up there.
Jabril.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another he's definitely knowledgeable, man, to be a young student, man. And he got a lot of years, you know what I mean, in this game, man. And
yeah, he does.
My man.
He does. He's only going to get better too. I mean, he's up under people like you, man. So he's going to be fine. Hey, man. So tell me, being a cut man, you know, I know you have seen some crazy stuff in that corner, man. Tell us something.
I'm gonna get a little story how I became a cut man. Working with Leon Tabs, and with Bernard, he kind of was grooming me, and I worked with Jones and this guy named Jimmy, who should be Mike Jones' cut man. So them two was grooming me to become a cut man. I didn't cutting no cut, man. I was kind of rooms and kind of was like forced to become a cut man because
Mhm.
they was getting older. Leon was getting, his step was slow as far as getting up. So he would have me run up and put the end swell. He was training me. You know what I mean? I was training, and then he would really know I was in training. So that's how I became a cut man. But going back to you were saying, as far as being a cut man, I see a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty much sure, man. What was one of the real worst cuts that you had to deal with?
Uh, uh, when I first started doing cuts, man, Joey, and I also got to give a shout. Joey I showed me a lot of stuff too, man. He's here in Philly, and he did a show, and I always tell this story. This guy was cut, but he tightened him up. He put makeup on him, and when he fought, the guy ain't really get hit. He comes to the corner bleeding like crazy. I'm like, who get where you get hit at? You know, and I'm like on it, And the reason why I was so comfortable in the corner, because I worked a lot of fights with Bernard, and being under those big lights, I was always comfortable. And being as a fighter and, fighting in, a big crowd, being in the corner, I was always comfortable. That was my sanctuary. I was always comfortable. And I controlled that cut, and this guy he was split open. But the fight wound up getting stopped. But guess what? It didn't get stopped from a cut. It got stopped because he was taking too many punches. So that was like one of my worst one.
Now, tell me, what do you all use to stop them from bleeding?
Well, you use it's called 1001 adrenaline, and you gotta have like pretty much of a hookup to get it. So I know a couple people, so that's how I get it. It's very expensive. Being a cut man is very expensive. It's not easy because being a cut man, you definitely have to learn how to wrap hands.
Right.
Coaches don't wrap hands, and I'm one of the best hand wrappers.
That's what somebody was telling me. I was talking to my guy Jamil from YMS YSM Sports, and he was saying when I told him about the interview, he said, "Oh man, that's one of the best hand wrappers in the game."
Yeah, so I mastered that, man, and I learned from Freddie, I learned from Raphael, I learned from Nazim, Bowie Fisher. I just took it, man, and just put it into my arsenal. And I could just continue to practice and keep my brain open, man, because I always practice. And I still practice. Because once you close it, you stop learning.
That is so true.
Finding ways and different ways to do certain stuff, just to add on. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, I wanted to be irrelevant in the boxing game, and I do it all. And like I said, when you get Danny Davis in the corner, you can get advice. You're getting a trainer. You're getting a cut man, and I do fitness. You getting everything in that corner.
You one-stop shop, ain't you, man?
Yeah. And
you remind me of the guy over there in Mayweather's camp. They call him Do It All Bob. That's
my man. That's my man, Bob. We talk all the time, man. Bob, he wrap hands very well, man. And he's a great cut man. He's like one of my guys that I look up to. Bob, Stitch.
Stitch is nice.
Stitch always, he calls me, man, and give me work. And I be giggling, man, because I'm like, oh, man, Stitch called me, And I still giggle when he called me, because I was like, yo, I got a phone call from Stitch to work some fights, But yeah, it's a few guys in the game, man, I look up to, man. And them guys motivate me. And I say, man, I want to be better than them. And keeps the fire, because I always say I want to be better than them. And so that's what keeps the fire under me. You know what I mean? And you have to, just like I do classes and I teach hand wrapping, and I teach people how to do cuts. And I tell people like, yo, you know, you want to be better than me, because that's your motivation. You know what I mean? So that's my motivation. You know, everybody had their own little different motivation, but that's my motivation. And,
Wow, wow. So
uh,
that when you say 101 adrenaline, so once you apply it, how does that work?
the way you apply, you just can't put it on. Being a cut man, you know, if someone get cut is about pressure, about applying pressure. You
Okay.
know, applying pressure hold, because you have to still remember you don't have the full 1 minute. When somebody get cut and they got a nosebleed, like you got maybe 58 seconds to work on this guy to get his face together, stop the bleeding, you know, applying pressure, your swabs, getting that nose stopped, applying pressure. And you got, and I always had this, like this 10-second rule or 5-second rule. Once you know, boom, and then hurry up, boom. Because you got to be so fast, man, because before you know it, because they telling you 5 seconds to really get out the ring before the bell. You understand? So you only have seconds to really do your work. And when people know you, they allow you to work. So the inspectors, they respect me, the doctors, so they allow you to work. Because I seen guys, they just stopped the fight because they maybe didn't know the cut man. You understand? So I do have respect in the game, and they allow me to do my job and do my work, man. Because I'd had, like I said, some situations where I got cut here, nosebleed. You got to, you know, get all that stuff together in a matter of seconds, you know. And like I said, being a cut man, a good cut man is when you could stop cuts that you think that you couldn't stop. And when people see that, they gonna hire you, man. And on top of you wrapping hands real good, because that's your money. I always tell people that's your money. And once people know you for that, oh man, the sky's the limit. You know, sky's the limit. But it's just unfortunate, man. I get a lot of work outside of Philadelphia, man. Because
Nice.
you know, people call me and they, you know, they like, Danny, why you don't work with such and such in Philly? Why you don't work with this guy in Philly? I say, I can't answer that question, why they don't use me. But it's like I said, the unfortunate part, people outside of Philadelphia use me. You know what I mean? It's sad, but it is what it is.
Man, I'm glad you gave this insight, you know, because this is a part that people don't know. You know what I mean? And that's what my job, man, is to be able for people to understand what's going on in that corner, you know. And the piece that you just gave right now, so many people don't know that stuff, man. You know, they don't know we watching what's going on, but you just broke it down to us.
Like you just said a little while ago, this is the only entity people could just come in this game and they think that they can, without, it's levels, man. I went from a pad man, to get my certification. I started doing fitness, to you know, being a cut man. It took time, man. And then being a trainer, it's a level. People think you could jump from 1 to 4. Nah, it's levels in what you call in this game. And people don't want to go through the levels because they want to let their friends in and you know, to bring them in, and they don't know what they're doing. Or even if you go through the amateurs, go through the amateur ranks and work with the amateurs first and get your experience working with the amateurs. You don't even see, be like, where this guy come from? I'm a referee. I see people. Know the guys, like, where this guy come from? Or where this guy, you know, trying to do cuts and don't even know what they're doing. I told a couple of my friends, a couple guys that I know, and I was honest with them. They asked me, they called me, they were like, Dan, I need some adrenaline. And I said, for what? Oh man, I'm working the corner, man, so I can get in the fight. I said, yo, don't put nobody's life in your hand, man. Don't do that. Don't do it. Don't play cut man when you're not a cut man. Because it could be that night where this kid get all busted up. Now people are looking at you like that. What he's doing in the corner.
Mhm.
So I advise people, don't put yourself in that predicament, because you never know when something's going to happen. Because you get a guy who's undefeated and he's knocking everybody out. All right, you think you could just jump in his corner. You got to go through the levels first. Go through the amateurs and practice. And people don't want to practice. They just want to just jump on the board, jump on board. You know what I mean? It took time for me to be at the point and the level that I am. And I'm still learning. I'm only 55. I'm young, man.
That's right.
And I'm still learning. So that's the advice I give to people.
And that's so crazy, man, that anybody can just walk and be in that corner like that. It's no guidelines or any stipulations or anything like that.
It's nothing, man.
That's crazy.
It's crazy because you can't do it in basketball, football, any other sport. You have to go through some training,
certifications, yeah,
or some certifications you have to go through. Boxing, we don't have to go through nothing. You can get your $25 license and work the corner. Yep.
And what's the requirement to getting that license?
To be in the corner?
Just paying that money, that's it.
Paying that money. Filling the application out and paying the $25. And you become a second in the corner. It's sad, man.
That's very sad.
We have no, and this been going on for years, man, and nothing has been done. I don't think at this point, I don't think nothing will be done. It will still be the same. Anybody can walk in. A lawyer could be, and he's the guy lawyer. He's working in the corner. What is he doing in the corner with you? He your lawyer. What your conditioning doing in your corner? You know what I mean?
Yeah. You froze up on me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, somebody had called.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. All right, but yeah, but that's pretty much it there, bro. Tell everybody where they can find you on your platform.
Well,
social media platform. Do you have any?
Yeah, we're at the new gym. We got a new gym.
Okay.
My guy Kurt, owner here at 2K Lab Boxing Gym. You can go on. It's 2K Lab Boxing Gym, right? Okay. You can reach me. You can hit me up on my Instagram, Danny 5701. That's Danny 5701. That's my Instagram. Come down to 2K Lab Boxing Gym. You can go on 1130 Eastern Road, Abington, PA. 2K Boxing Gym. Nice.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to say while you got the camera right on you, bro?
Man, I want to say I appreciate you, man, for interviewing me, man. You doing big things, man. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Knocking them doors open, knocking them down. And man, I really appreciate you. Thank you.
All right. Hey, it was a pleasure having you, bro. You enlightened me on some things I didn't know. So, like you said, you never get too old to learn, if you want to learn.
Yeah, always keep that, always absorb. You know what I mean? Absorb. So I want to man.
Well, I thank you. It's your boy Jay Hardcore of Hardcore Boxing News, and my guy Danny Davis, and we out of here.
Thanks.